What can we learn from the 90s puffy shoe era? We learned how not to make skate shoes.
When people get away from their formula is usually when you see problems.
At different times in the company's history, I've had to step in to some management people didn't understand what our roots were. And our roots are skateboarding. You know, if you don't listen to the skaters, you're not going to be in business. You know, knocking on wood, we've been listening to the skaters, sometimes not all the time, and we've got in trouble that way.
For a while there, they weren't even letting us signature guys put a stripe on the sides because they didn't want us, they wanted the stripe to be for like classics and they didn't want it to be for skate. And they also, for a while there, they wouldn't let us have the vulcanized sole. They wanted it to be a cup sole.
The shoes were really chunky. They were trying to be like sporty, like there was like a lot of rubber on it, a lot of plastic.
We were designing all the puffy shoes because new brands that were coming out, and we're doing a great job making shoes. And our designers were making shoes too to look like theirs. And we did sell shoes, but you know, it wasn't right.
The brand direction was all over the place. It had forgotten its identity. It had forgotten the product that got it to where it's at. It forgot its history, and it forgot the people that gave that history and built the brand, like Steve Van Doren.
Because they didn't look like Vans, they didn't feel like Vans. And Jeff was a real key component because he wanted to have a shoe that was back to the original. And it was like 6 months earlier, I was just screaming at everybody saying, hey, that's the wrong way.
I believed in his family's vision, you know, at a time when it was kind of forgotten. And I wanted to try and reinvigorate that and get it back on track.
I know at one point I fell in love with the rally shoe that like brought Vans into like a good limelight, you know? I think it's like Staples, Center Grind, like all these maybe different ads, those remind me of the same shoe. You know, we all know it. It's like the Rally 1, I believe, you know, so good.
It was in a sense like he did his own thing. Like he went to Vans and he started riding all that old shit again, and it was like, it looked right, you know? And those ads were so gnarly too, you know? And they were just that yellow, you'd flip it, it'd be 2 pages of whatever the fuck gnarly shit he was doing, and it was yellow, and he was riding those shoes, just skating the most gnarly stuff. And you just like, what the fuck? Like, how's he doing that, you know, in those old ass shoes?
After like watching Jeff skate in Authentics and like these thin old shoes, and everyone else was like, oh, maybe you can skate in thin shoes and you don't need like an inch of plastic or rubber on the shoes, you know?
Although they went a bit wacky for a while, they didn't completely stay wacky. They went back to the old school, and that's what it is. It's like, if you listen to the right people, the right riders, and basically skating went from old school to wacky 90s shit, you know, and that's fine for them to follow the trends, but skateboarding now is back to its pure original look. Like, you know, it's like back to that kind of style, and so Vans shoes fits that, of course.
Yeah, Chima. Woo! Fuck yeah. That was so solid. That was perfect. Couldn't have done any better, dude. Appreciate it. That one had to feel good, dude.
Oh yeah.
That was so solid.
For me personally, having the stripe and having the vulcanized sole is kind of an honor because, you know, it's been passed down through so many histories, through the Tony Alvas, through, you know, like so many skaters have had that. I mean, almost everybody I could think of that ride for other shoe companies now, you know, Danny Way, Eric Costin, they've all had Vans at one point in their life. And not a lot of other shoe companies can say that pretty much every skateboarder at one point has owned their pair of shoes, you know? And I'm not just normal skateboarders, but like legendary skateboarders. So it's an honor to be a part of Vans when you get to be a part of that whole era and history, and like I said, a lot of those guys probably still to this day design their shoes to look like Vans, you know, and they all ride for different shoe companies.
Yeah. Put your foot farther up, okay, and the board will hit it sooner, and it'll just stay more firm, I think. That's my 25-cent input right there. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All these people getting towed right here, TA's revenge. It's like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. No, fuck you.
Get in behind the driver so...
It's like for every person that ever fucked with me in Venice.
Okay, so all the people that like helped progress the sport and make it into what it is today are still around, and like skateboarding's in this like special position. It'll be weird to see where it goes when like they're not around. Like skateboarding's always gonna be skateboarding, but it's just like so cool that all those people are around and we can appreciate them.
I think Vans has always done a good job of kind of having a little piece of history in each generation.
I mean, it's cool. You got like the young squad, and then you've got people in between, and then you've got like the OGs or the legends like Ray Bobby.
To be a part of a company that's so ingrained in skateboarding. There's trips where, you know, we go on that are more like, not so like hardcore skate trips, you know what I mean? Like when we went and did like the House of Vans in London and all that stuff, and then you got Hosoi there, and you got Cardiel. It's a fucking trip, you know? And Jeff Raleigh, you know, you see these generations of skateboarding, and then how Vans like keeps that heritage around, you know what I mean, and the importance of that. There's not really many companies that can do that. People have come in and they try to buy that up, but Vans actually like owns that in the sense of like it just is that, you know, so it's, to be a part of that, it's like so sick.